Hi everyone, Salesforce Development Day 10. Let's see what we are going to learn today. Today we will quickly go through the previous session overview and we'll talk about the Apex command link, Visualforce Tag, and what are the attributes in the command link. Then we will discuss about the Apex panelGrid, Visualforce Tag, and the attributes. And then we will discuss about the Apex facet, Visualforce Tag, and the attributes. And then we will discuss about the Apex variable, variable, Visualforce Tag, and the attributes, quiz, homework, and then finally we'll discuss about the Apex data table. Then we'll have a trial head. Now quickly, what did we learn in the last class?
Apex tab panel.
Tab panel, tab, and the page block within the table. Also, we have discussed a page block table and the column and what are the attributes. The last program which we have done is we have created the page block table. This page block table is we have created within the page block and page block section and then page block table. And if I click on the preview, so basically page block table is going to display the list of the records. It is going to display the list of the records. What happened? It is not showing. Now let me see. Page block section, title, column, page block table, and account, acc.name. What is the reason? Let me pass the ID. Click on all customers. ID equal to okay. So this is the information which is passing. Fine. So account name, all the details, and then we are displaying the account number, and then we are displaying the phone, industry, type, employees. These are the tables which are displayed. Now today we'll see how to do the navigation. Now yesterday we have discussed about the displaying the table. But for example, if I wanted to do the navigation, assume that there are 42 records are there. 42 records are there. At least first page and the next page, at least 3 pages it might display. 3 pages it might display. Now this is the page 1 and page 2 and then page 3. Now we have a 3 pages. We have a 3 pages here. Now whenever I click on a next button, what should happen is it should take us to the next page. It should take us to the next page and then display the next page details as well as store this previous page details. Store this previous page details somewhere. So that if I'm coming back from page 2 to page 1, then it should display the exact data, whatever the data is available, it should display the data. Now, usually, in order to implement this, we need a Apex. But without Apex, is there any other way? So Salesforce has provided some predefined methods. Salesforce has provided predefined methods for the navigation. What is this predefined method? One method is has next. One method is has next. And the second method is has previous. Has previous. What it does basically, that means when I click on a next button, when I click on it, here I have a next button, here I have a previous button. Right? This is the next button. Let's say this is the previous button. And this is the next button. When I click on the next button, back end of this logic, it has to execute this method. As soon as I click on the next button, it should be executing the predefined method. What is this predefined method does? It will take us to the next page, as well as it will store this page one details in some temporary container. It is going to store the previous page details in the temporary container. Because when I click on a previous button on the page 2, whenever I click on this previous button, what this previous button does is behind this previous button, we will call this predefined method. This predefined method looking for the temporary available data. Now temporary container, in the temporary container, whatever the data is there, it will take that data and displays here. Right? It is has next and has previous is provided by the client. Now, if you want to use this has next and has previous in the Salesforce, we have to use these methods like a curly braces exclamation has next, and then curly braces exclamation has previous. Now, this is how we will be calling it. This has previous is called whenever we click on the previous button. Whenever we click on the next button, it should call the has next method, because backend of this method, this is a method implemented by the Salesforce. In this method, Salesforce has written the logic to take it to the next page, to take it to the page navigation. So delete this page and show me the next page. And before deleting this page, store all the details into the temporary container. So that logic is implemented in the has next. And when I click on a previous, delete this page and go to the temporary container, look for the what are the data is there and display the data in the page 1. Display the data into the page 1. So that is implemented by the has previous. That is implemented by the has previous method. Inside the has previous, there is a method, the logic has been implemented there. Now, if I have to use these two methods, if I have to use these two predefined methods, how can we use it? How can we use it? The first thing which we will see is commandLink. We have a apex colon commandLink. We use a apex colon commandLink to display the clickable link. That means if I want a next button here, I want a next button. Now next button. On click of the next button, I wanted to display. Now here it should be a hyperlink. Now as soon as I click on this hyperlink, it should open the page. It should open the page. So in order to display the clickable link, we use the command link. So when user click on this link, the action defined by the controller executes it. Whatever the action is defined behind this clickable link, that gets executed. Then either the page navigation to a different page. So when we click on that, either it will go to the different page or else it will refresh the current page. This is based on the whatever the logic that we have written on the action, behind the action method. When we click on that link, either it will navigate to the different page or else it will refresh the current page. It's all depending on the what is the logic is implemented on clickable action behind the method. Now, usually for the next and previous, there are different type of methods are available, right? Save, edit, delete, cancel, next, previous. So we have a different type of action methods like a saving the method, editing the method, deleting the method, cancel the method, right? Next method, previous method. For save, we know that if you just use the curly brace exclamation, I can use the save. Now, if I wanted to use the Salesforce save, then I can use the curly braces exclamation save. Now, which is going to execute the normal save logic. Whatever the Salesforce save logic is there, it will execute the normal save. But how about the next and previous? For next, we have to use a has next. For next, we have to use the has next. For previous, we have to use the has previous. These are the two predefined methods that are provided by the Salesforce. And the attributes within the Apex command link is one is the action. Action is nothing but on click of that link, what is the action needs to be executed, right? So we will refer that method using the merge field. And for example, action equal to curly braces exclamation save. Now on click of that save hyperlink, now this action gets executed. Rendered is nothing but it's a boolean value. When you wanted to display this button or when you want to display this command link, or do you want to display the next button every time, or do you want to display the previous button every time? Do you want to display the previous button every time? Now, if you want to display the previous button only based on the certain conditions, now that condition is if I am into the second page, only show me the previous button. If I am into the first page, do not show the previous button. This can be handled by the rendered. Rendered is going to check what is the page. Is it a second page or is it a first page? If it is a first page, do not show the previous. If it is a apart from the first page, if this is in the any other page, the navigation is in second, third, fourth, whatever it could be, then simply show the previous command link. Take a notes of it, then we will implement it. Done? Now let's see how to use this command link. Now yesterday we have implemented this page block table. Now this is on the account. In the account, it is just displaying the 20 records. Just displaying the 20 records. How many records do I have on the account? I have almost, if I click on all accounts, all customers, I have 42 records. At least 2 to 3 pages it will come, right? Now, in this same table, what I'm going to do is below I'm going to add buttons. Below, I'm going to add a buttons. Now click on here, page block. After the page block, I'm going to add a command link, apex colon, command link. This is the by default, it is a self-closed, but I'll make it as open and close. Open and close. Now this command link, what are the command link name is there? I'll just mention here, go previous page. Go previous page. And another one which I'm going to create it. Go next page. Now, as soon as I add a button, it is asking me to add one more tag. What is the tag? What is this error? What is this error?
It should come under
Apex form should be mentioned.
So it has to be between the apex form. Whenever we add a button or a command link, anything input, it has to be within the apex colon form. I'll click on save button. Now I have added it is showing me the go previous, go next, right? Both are it is displaying it. Both are it is displaying it. Now if I click on it, anything is happening? Nothing is happening because we have not written any action behind this. On click on this link, on click on this, did I write any action? Action I have not written. So what I'll do is I'll specify here action equal to curly braces exclamation. I'll say previous. I'll say previous. And here action equal to next. Now click on save. Click on save. Now let's go and see. This refresh is happening. Now I'll click on now I'm clicking on the go previous. Now here we have a go previous, right? I'll click on this go previous page. What is happening? Same page is rendering again. If I click on a go next, it will go to the next page. Now it is displaying the newest to Volkswagen. Again, if I click on the next, it will display 2 or 3 records. Now if I click on the previous, it will go to the second page. Newest to Volkswagen. If I click on again go to previous, then it will display the audit to new test 1, 2, 3. Now for example, I do not want to display the go previous when it is on the first page. Now what you can do is you can add here renderer equal to, instead of a true false, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a method which is called as a has previous, whether it has a previous or not. Similarly, next button also. I'm going to display the next button only if there is a next is available, which is nothing but a has next. If there is a next is available, there is next is available. Now, right now it is just displaying the go to next page. It is not displaying the previous page. Now click on go next page, and now I can see two command links are showing, which is a go previous and go next. Now again, if I click on a go next, it will go to the next page. Similarly, go to the previous. Next button is not displaying here. Next is not displaying because there is no next page. Now click on a go previous page and then go previous page. Right, so it is identifying that how many pages. Basically, this is going to, this is basically it will have whether it has a next page or not. And what are the previous pages there? All the previous pages will be stored. Now action is I'm clicking on the previous and the next. So there is a method which is written previous and next, previous method as well as the next method which is written by the Salesforce. At the same time, they have written the one more method which is called as a has previous, has next. So total 4 methods which are written by the Salesforce. So has previous, has next is going to hold what is the previous, what is the next, whether I have a previous page or whether I have a next page or not. Now this is going to display the data. This is going to display the data. Now when you click on this page, this is rendered is to show this command link. Rendered is to show the command link, whether we should show this command link. Is there any page is available, next page is available or not? If it is a next page is available, show the next page. In case if the next page is not available, do not show the next page. Do not show the next page. Now, once I click on this button, what is the data needs to be displayed is decided by this action. What is the data needs to be displayed by this action. Now, from where it is has to be displayed is provided by the has next. Has next will provide, or a has previous will provide it to the next. From where it should start the number, whether it should start from 21 or whether it should start from some different number. So it is going to display from 21 by default, it is going to display up to 40. When I click on the next button, it is displaying the data from 41 to 42. Initially, it is displaying 1 to 20. 1 to 20 is the first page and 21 to 40 is the second page and 41 to 42 is the third page. Now, instead of a command link, can I use a command button? I do not want to use the command link. Can I use the command button? You can use the command button also. For example, let me take this as a command button. Command button. Now, previous pages I am taking as a button and next is I am taking as a command link. Now let's see. Now here next page is displaying as a command link. Click on the next button. Click on the next button. Now here it is showing the go previous is the button. Now here, why it is showing the command button go previous is somewhere and the command button is here? Because I have a one attribute which is called in the command button which is value. Value equal to, I need to specify here. Instead of specifying here, I will be specifying at the value level. Now click on a refresh.
Ma'am, can you zoom out a little? We can't see the buttons.
Sorry. Can you repeat it?
We are not able to see the buttons at the down. If you can just zoom out a little bit, that will be better.
Okay. So this is the button.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, so initially why it is not displaying? Because there was a no value that I have not given. If I do not specify the value, I cannot see the button. Button is not visible. Now let me refresh. Now I have removed the value here. Now I'll click on the go next. Now, is it displaying anything here? It's not displaying it. It's not displaying. There is a button is available. There is a button is available here, right? There is a button is available, but we cannot view properly. The reason is whenever we are using the command button, we have to use the value equal to go previous page. Value equal to go previous page. Now, if I refresh it, go to the next page, and then we can see the go previous page. Now, if I click on the go previous page, it works as it is. It works as it is. Now, if I click on it, go to next, it is a next page. Now here, go to the next, again it will display the next page. Now go to the previous, it display the previous, again it will display the previous. But these are the few actions which are provided by the Salesforce. Similarly, I'm going to add a few more here. Let's say I'm going to add a few more command links, which is a, let's say first. Now I'm going to display the first. First is another command link. And then I'll write last. Now here it is a last. Click on save. Now it is showing the first and last. First and last. Now if you want, you can make it center also. You can make it center. Whatever the alignment. Right? So this is the first. This is the first one. When I click on the first, same page will be there. And click on it, go to next. When I click on it, go to next. Now I can see first button, go previous page, go next button, and the last. Right? In case if you want to add a space between this, in case if you want to add a space and bring that into the center, we will see that. Okay, how to bring it to the center, divide this one by one, we will see. But here it is the displaying the information. When I click on a last, it goes to the last. If I click on a first, now it is coming to the first page. That means first is holding the first page, last is holding the last page, previous page is holding the all the previous pages, all the previous pages. Now this is how it is working on it. Now here what I have used the command link. Here I have used the command link. Now I have it 3 pages. This is one page, this is second page, and this is the third page. Now first I have implemented the apex colon command link. Command link, in the command link. Okay, whenever we are using the command link, use the open and close command link. Apex colon command link. Open and close command link. Now here within the command link, now in between this, specify the previous, right? Similarly, I have a next button. Right, similarly, I have a first button. First, this is the first, previous, next, first, previous, next, and the last. Now, instead of a command link, if you want to use a command button also, you can use it. Instead of a command link, if you want to use the command button, you can use the command button also. Now, as soon as I have added this logic, what is happened? It is displaying the 4 command links. It is displaying the 4 command links. One is the first, and then previous, and then next, and then last. These are the command links which are displaying it with the underline. Now like this it is displaying it. First, previous, next, and then last. Right, so these are the displaying it. Now when I click on the first, what should happen? Who will be deciding it? Decided by the action. It has to be decided by the action. Now who is that action? Now we have to write here inside the action. Now let's say here inside the command link, I'm going to specify action equal to, in double quotes, curly braces, exclamation. What is the action? Action should be related to the first. Action should be related to the first. Similarly, this is for the first command link. Similarly, I'm going to add an action for previous. Now here action, curly braces, exclamation, previous method. We are going to add previous method. Right? And similarly, I have an action equal to double quotes. Now in this, we are going to add exclamation, curly braces, exclamation. This is for the next. So my action is next. Similarly, action equal to, now this is for the last. Curly braces, exclamation, last. Now, when I click on this, now I have added the action here. Now I have added the action. What is this action is going to do? This action is going to do, whenever I click on a first button, it should display the first page. When I click on the last, it should display the last page. It should display the last page. Now, when I click on the previous, right? So here, for example, when I click on the next button, if I am in the page 1, I clicked on the next button. When I clicked on the next button, it has to refresh the same page to display the page 2. It will remove the page 1 data and display the page 2 data. Now if I am in page 2, remove the page 2 data and display the page 3 data. Right, so it has to display the next pages. Which is done by the action, curly braces, exclamation, next. If I click on the previous, whatever the previous pages are there. For example, right now I have clicked on the next button, which is on, I am into the page 3. When I am in page 3, now I wanted to come back to the page 2. If I wanted to come back to the page 2, then I need to click on the previous button. Now I will click on the previous button on this page so that it will bring me to the page 2. How these are working, how this logic is working, because behind this action, Salesforce has written a logic for the first. There are some 20 lines or 100 lines of code which is written by the Salesforce. This is curly braces, exclamation first is nothing but there is a method. Some method is implemented in the Salesforce. Now as soon as I click on the first, it will check what is the action is available on the command link. Now this is the action. So it says that curly braces, exclamation first. Then that means go to the first method. Now this first method, whatever the logic is implemented, now as per this logic, it passes the data to the first command link. Now it says that you should display the first page. As soon as we click on the last will go to the another method which is written by the Salesforce. Now it will go and check, is there any method which is called as a last? Yes, there is a method which says that last. Now if I have a last method, now it will check what is the logic is written by the Salesforce, execute this logic, and there is a response, it goes back to the page, and then it will tell the last command link that you should display the last page. The last page is page 3. Right? So this is how the logic gets executed. Now, on this, we have a one more attribute which says rendered, Rendered is basically, it will say whether you wanted to display when you are in a first page, do you want to display the first page or not? When you are into the previous page, when you are into the first page, I do not want to display the previous page. Now you can say here, rendered equal to rendered is it expects the boolean value either true or false. Now here it is expecting the curly braces exclamation has previous. It has a previous or not. It has a previous or not. It is expecting the has previous or not. Has previous or not. Now if you give the rendered equal to has previous, now if it is a true, then don't display. If it is a false, display this. So rendered is always, it's a boolean value that specifies whether the component is rendered on the page. That means, do you want to display this page or not? Do you want to display this page or not? Now same thing, if you want to implement with the command link, you can implement with the command button. If you want to implement with the command button, you can implement it. So for example, I wanted to implement same logic with the command button. Now let's see how can we implement apex colon command button. Command button. Command button, let's have a open and close. Now, within this, I'm going to specify saying action equal to, let's say first, curly braces exclamation first, right? And then I'll say here value equal to, this is the first. This is the first. Similarly, if I want a previous, and next and last. This is previous. This is the previous, and then I have a next. And then I have a last. Right? So this is how we will specify using the command button. This is how you will specify the command button. You take anything, whether it is a command button or a command link. Action is if you specify the by default whatever the predefined logic is there. If you specify the predefined logic that is provided by the Salesforce, it will execute the normal logic and it will work next, previous, whatever is there, all the changes automatically it works. All the changes it works. If I click on a go previous, now here it is a go previous, again it is displaying it. Now I do not have a go previous because it's right now I'm into the first page. There is no previous pages. Now this is taken care by the Salesforce. Now without Apex also you can implement a navigation, but you need to use the Salesforce predefined methods. You need to use Salesforce predefined methods. Is that clear? Okay, so let's move on. Now here apex colon, next one is a panelGrid. Next one is panelGrid. PanelGrid is nothing but if you want you have a multiple buttons are there. You have a multiple buttons or a multiple command links are there. Multiple command links are there. You wanted to group them together. In order to, you want to group them. In order to group them, what we can do is we can use the panel. Panel is nothing but a small group. The keyword here panel. Inside this, if you see here panel is nothing but a group. Panel is nothing but a group of members or group of object or group of committee, right? Group of members who has chosen by the, somebody has chosen that group. And there is a responsibility given to that group. So panel is nothing but a group. Interview panel, we will say interview panel. Interview panel is nothing but it's not a one person. There are multiple members will be there in the interview panel. Panel is a small group. Panel is a small group. Now the next one is grid. Grid is nothing but it's a structure. Grid is nothing but a structure. What kind of a structure? It is made of horizontal and vertical. Grid is nothing but some grid. This is the horizontal lines and vertical lines. Now you are building a grid here. This is a grid. Crossing the horizontal, vertical, crossing each other from the form square. Okay, this is called as a grid. Now let's go ahead and understand panel grid. Now we know what is the panel, we know what is the grid. Now next thing is what is panel grid? Apex colon panel grid. Apex colon panel grid is nothing but it allows for more control of a layout. This is nothing but basically it is kind of a beautification. More of it is a beautification, alignment, or if you have a multiple buttons or multiple command links, if you want to group them and make it into the grid level, right? So if you want to display in that order, then you can use the panel grid. The attributes which are available in the panel grid is columns. How many number of columns do you want to display in the grid panel? Right, in the panel grid, how many columns you wanted to display. Now, in case if you want to apply any CSS for the column classes, then you can use a column classes. And border, in case if you want to add a border to this group, if you want to add a border, this is normal HTML table, we have a border, kind of a width border, like if you have a 4 buttons are there. If you have a 4 buttons, in these 4 buttons, now you are displaying the buttons one by one. You are displaying the buttons one by one. Now, what is the border that you need to have, the outer border? You want a 2 width or it's like a very thick border or a light border. Like it is going to ask you that how much you want this border. And then there are more CSS like a cell padding and cell spacing. Cell padding and cell spacing. Now take a notes of it, then we will see the implementation of panel grid. Done.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me know once you are done with taking the notes. Okay. Now let's move on. Let's see. Now we have a few buttons here, few buttons and few command links are there. Right now I'm going to apply a panel grid. I'm going to apply a panel grid. Now here I'm going to space apex colon panel grid. Panel grid. Now between this panel grid, I'll add a command link. Between this panel grid, I'll add a command link. Now what I have done, I have added the outer structure panel grid. Within that command link, command button, command links are added. Now let's see what is happened. It is displaying the line by line. Now if I go to the next, all the buttons are displaying line by line. All the buttons are displaying. First it is displaying, then it is displaying the go previous. Next it is a go next page and then last. Then it is a last. Now by default, it will take a one column structure. By default, it will take a one column structure. Now what I'll do is I'll add here attribute which is having a columns, let's say 4. And also I'll add a border equal to, let's say 1. Let's see. Now refresh. Now it is added the 4 column. Now it is added the 4 column. Right now, let me add some space so that you can see here. Now, in order to add the space, I'll say cell spacing. Let's say 50. And also let's add the cell padding equal to 5. Click on save. Now you can see first, next, and last. If I click on a next button, now we can see first, go previous, next button, and the last. If I click on a previous, it will go to the previous. Now this will be updated order to new test 1, 2, 3. If I click on a go next, it will go to the newest to the Volkswagen. It will go to the newest to the Volkswagen. Now let me bring this into the center. What I'll do is I'll add a style equal to, we have some predefined styles with the Salesforce, which starts with a margin, I'll say inline, margin inline colon auto, margin inline colon auto. And let's refresh this. Now we can see here, it is displaying the first, go to the next, and the last. If I click on a go to next, Now it will display the 4 buttons. Now it display the 4 buttons. First page, go previous, go next, and the last. Go next and the last. Now similarly, if I click on a go next, it is going to display this one. Now previous button I have it, next button I do not have. Similarly, if I wanted to directly go to the first page instead of previous page, I wanted to go to the first page. Now let's click on the first page. Now it will go to the body. It starts with A and ending at N. Now if I just directly want to step onto the last page, not the next page. I just want to go to the next page, last page. So just click on the last. It will directly jump onto the last page. Right, it directly jumped onto the last page. In case if you want to add any coloring or a styling, anything that you wanted to add, you can add the styling. Now here, whatever we added with the panel grid, right? So this is the panel grid. Panel grid is converted into the table. Panel grid is converted into the table, and border we have added 1. Cell padding is a 5. Cell spacing is a 15. Margin inline is a auto, right? So if you wanted to inline the margin, like all the buttons should be displayed at the center. Then if you give margin inline, this is also HTML styling, margin inline. If you want to inherit, initial, revert, unset, whatever you want, auto. So auto is by default, whatever the Salesforce is having it, you can use the same thing. You can use the same. And then if you want to add any coloring. Now, for example, I wanted to add a background color. Now you can add anything here. So that is the background color. This is button, that's the reason you are able to see. But instead of background color, let's say I wanted to go with let's go with this. Now here you can see this. Now this is the background color which is updated. Now you can see here previous button. Now if I click on the previous button, it will go to the go previous, right? And similarly, if I go previous, again it is going there. Now you can add a styling also, background color. You can add here background color. What was the color that we have selected? Inspect. And let's say background color. Now let's take this. Let's click on save. Now, it's in the first page. Now if I click on the last page, it will display the last page, and I have it. This previous page is a button, so that's the reason it is displaying in the white color. Now click on the previous page, it will go to the previous page, which is showing from the newest to the Volkswagen. Right? Panel grid is a, if you have a group of members and if you wanted to place it into the grid, if you want to place it into the grid, then you can use a panel grid. Panel grid is usually we use it for the buttons. We use it for the buttons. Similarly, in the Salesforce also we have a panel grid. So this is the panel grid. This is panel grid. This is one button. This is another button. This is another button. So this is a panel grid which is displaying in the column 3. This is displaying in the column 3. Now, let's move on the next one. Next one is the apex facet. Apex facet. Now, if you see here, Apex facet is nothing but this is a kind of a placeholder. It is kind of a placeholder for the content. Now, in simple word, if I have to say facet equal to, in simple word, if I have to say facet equal to, now here we have a table, right? In this table, for example, right now table is simply it is displaying it. But what I need is I wanted to display here check boxes. I wanted to display the check boxes here. Right now here check boxes, like each one should be having a check boxes similar to the how we have it in the Salesforce Lightning. Right, every record should have a check boxes. Every record should have a check boxes. Now let me show you in the Salesforce. In the Salesforce, if you go to the recently viewed, right now it is not displaying. Okay. Now let me go to the classic. Go to the accounts. All customers. No, we do not have. For example, if I wanted to display the checkboxes before this account name, right? Before this account name, I wanted to display the checkboxes. Now, in case if I wanted to display the checkboxes, what is the keyword that I will use it? Now, I wanted to display the checkbox here. Forget about the parser. If I wanted to display the checkbox here, what is that I need to use it? Which Visualforce tag do I need to use it? If I wanted to display the
Apex
checkbox here,
input checkbox.
sorry,
Apex input checkbox.
apex colon input checkbox. So I need to use it here, apex colon. Within that, within the column, I'm going to specify the apex colon input checkbox. Input checkbox, which is a self-closed. Save this. Refresh. Now it is displaying the checkboxes. Now it is displaying the checkboxes. But if you look at the header, is anything is displaying. It's not even saying anything. What is this? Now here also we should display the checkbox. Here also we should display the checkbox. So in case right now the header is empty, it is not displaying any data here. It is not displaying any data. So usually facet is used as a placeholder. Whenever there is no data at all, whenever there is no data, and if you wanted to use it, some data should be available there. I want some data. Either you show the checkbox or you show the some number here or you show some text here. This placeholder is empty right now. Right now, this is empty. Now, this is if you want to specify some name or if you want to specify some checkbox or whatever you wanted to use with the help of Apex Facet, we use it to display the content there. Now, Apex Facet is a placeholder for content that is rendered in a specific part of the parent component. Mostly Apex Facet is used for the table, and we use the Apex Facet Visualforce tag to get the user input. Now, within the Apex Facet, only input Visualforce tag and outfilled Visualforce tags can be used with S object. Now there is only one attribute here, name equal to facet. What are the name of the facet is there? That name we have to display it. Take a notes of it, then we will implement. Done.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. So what I'll do is now on the header, I wanted to display the input checkbox. And what I'll do here, we already have an apex column. Inside the apex column, we already added the input checkbox. When we added the input checkbox, it added for every record, but except the header. Now I wanted to place the input checkbox in the header also. Now what I'll do is apex colon facet, and here I'm going to specify apex colon input checkbox. Input checkbox. Click on save. No, still it is not displaying it. The reason is it is not displaying. We have added the missing attribute name. There is a one attribute on inside the facet is a name. This name is mandatory here because name is going to tell the location. Where do you want to add the checkbox? Do you want to add it in the header or do you want to add it in the footer? If I say name equal to header, it will add the input checkbox on the header. It will add the input checkbox on the header. If I say here, I'll say here footer. I'll say footer. So if I say footer, it will remove the checkbox from the top and it will add it in the footer. There is no record in the footer, but still it will add a checkbox in the footer. So name is the kind of a location. It is kind of a location, which is going to tell the Visualforce page where is this specific content needs to be added. What is the placeholder? What is the placeholder where it should needs to be added? Now we do not have at the footer, only at the header it is added. Only at the header it is added. Right, so for that purpose, we use a apex colon facet. In the table, in case if you wanted to add a checkboxes, including the header, when we add a normal input checkbox, it will not be added to the header. In case if you want to add the header also, there is some data you wanted to add in the header, and what we have to use is use the apex facet name equal to header and then pass the input checkbox here, so that it will be applied here. But when you apply it, if you select this, will it be selected here? That functionality is different. If I select this, is all my records get selected? No. That functionality is different. Salesforce has given only to show the checkboxes. But if I click on this, all the checkboxes should be selected. For that, it has to be a customization. For that, we have to implement a Apex logic. Now, if I uncheck, all the checkboxes should be unchecked. Right? Whatever the records are there, everything should be unchecked. Or if I check it, all the records in the current page should be checked. Similarly, in the Gmail, right? In the Gmail, if you go to the Gmail account, Now here you have a checkboxes, right? Here you have a checkboxes. Now these checkboxes is, now on top also you have a checkbox. On top also you have a checkbox. Now when you select it, when you select the top checkbox, when you select it, all of them is get selected. When you unselect it, all of them are get unselected. If you select any of this, right, it will be selected. That means partially it is selected. Partially it is selected here. Partially it is selected. Right. So in case if you want to select everything, just click on this. Just click on this, everything gets selected. Now, if you want this functionality to be implemented in the Visualforce page, if you want this functionality to be implemented in the Visualforce page, then it has to be implemented. Apex has to be implemented. That means custom logic has to be implemented. Custom logic has to be implemented. Right? That by default it is not available. Any questions so far? So far we have discussed about the Apex command link, Apex command button, and then we have discussed about the Apex panel grid, Apex panel grid, and then we have discussed about the Apex facet. Right, four Visualforce tags which we have discussed. Now let's see a few more. Now in this same page table, usually any table if you take it, there is a numbers are displayed here. There are numbers are displayed. Right? The numbers are displayed here 1 to 17. Or if you scroll down, it will increment by 1 and it will display all the numbers till 42 because we have a 42 records. Now, how can we show these numbers on the table? How can we show that numbers on the table? Now, in order to show the numbers, now what is the logic that I need to implement? The logic that I need to implement is logic has to be initial number, which is the initial number I equal to 1. Right? Initial number I equal to number. Now that means integer I equal to 1. Integer I equal to 1. I is the variable. I is variable here. This is I is the variable. I is variable. I am declaring a variable here. I am declaring a variable. What is the variable here? I is the variable. I am saying it I integer I equal to 1. Integer I equal to 1. Now, or else you can also say this I integer row number equal to 1. That means row number is the variable here. Row number is variable. This is a variable. Now my row number has to be starts with 1. So this is a variable. Now initially it is a 1. But if I want, I cannot display all of them 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, right? I need to increment this. That means next number it has to be 2. If I wanted to, then I will go for I plus plus, or else I do I equal to I plus 1. I plus 1. So what is the output? The output will be 2. So next time my I equal to 2. Again, I'll do the I plus 1. If I do the I plus 1, I equal to I plus 1. That means next time my I value is 3. I value is 3. Now this is how the increment is happening on the numbers. Now if I wanted to implement this kind of a logic in the Visualforce page, first of all, how can I declare a variable in Visualforce page? Now I have a row number, right? I need to declare somewhere the row number variable has to be declared. It starts with 1. 1. It starts with 1. So how can I declare the variable? How can I declare the variable? Now, in order to declare the variable, what we use is in the Visualforce page, we use the apex colon variable. Now, apex colon variable is to declare the local variable in Visualforce page. In case if you want to declare any of these variables, if you want to declare a variable in the Visualforce page, any of the variables in the Visualforce page, what we will do is we use the apex colon variable to declare a variable. Now here I am declaring the variable. How I am declaring it? Integer I equal to 1. Now integer row number equal to 1. Now this is how I am declaring it. Normal in generic mathematical or wherever you see in any C language or a normal basic language, we declare it like this. But in the Visualforce page, how can we declare it? In order to declare in the Visualforce page, we use a apex colon variable. To declare a local variable in the Visualforce page. Now, apex variable does not support the reassigning inside it of a iteration component. What is this means? Now, I wanted to reassign. That means here integer I equal to 1. Now, after this, I cannot say integer I equal to 4. I cannot say, I am reassigning this. Instead of saying the integer I equal to 4, this is not possible. It's not possible. What I am doing it, I am reassigning the I value. Initially, I value is 1 and it is incremented to 2 and it is incremented to 3. Now I am reassigning the I equal to 4. I am again reassigning the I equal to 4. This should not be happened. This is not supported in the Visualforce. Page. Reassignment cannot be happened. You cannot do the reassignment. Instead of a reassignment, you have to increment it. You have to increment the number. So that's exactly it is saying that apex colon variable does not support the reassignment inside of iteration component. And the attributes within this is 2 attributes we have. One is a value. Value is the expression that can be represented by the variable within the body of the variable component. Value is the expression that can be represented by the value variable. What is the value that you wanted to display? Var is normal variable name. What is the var name that you wanted to represent in the value expression? We will see how to use a val and var. Take a notes of it. Take a notes of it. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
No. Now I need to add a apex variable. So for what reason we are adding it to display the whatever the 1 to 20, the numbers I wanted to display the before table. Like this, I wanted to display the 1 to 20 numbers I wanted to display. In order to add the 1 to 20 before the record, we should be displaying I need to display before the record, I need to display the number. For that, I'm going to use the apex variable to declare the variable. Apex variable, I'll be using the apex colon variable. Now, where should I need to be declared in the apex colon variable? Apex colon variable has to be declared after the page block. Because whenever in the code or whenever in logic, whatever the logic we are writing it, whatever the logic I'm writing, for example, I'm writing the logic here. Before writing the logic, we should declare all the variables. We should declare all the variables. Now this is entire logic is there and this is the actual logic. This is the actual logic here. Actual logic is presented here. But before implementing any logic, whatever the variables that we needed, whatever the variables that we needed, all the variables we should display it here. All the variables we should display it here. Right? So that means all the declaration should be happen on the top. Or all the declaration that I equal to 1. That is a variable declaration. I am assigning the 1 value to the variable. This is a declaration. Whatever the declarations are there, all the declarations should be happen at the top of the page or top of the logic. Now here I am going to declare it after the apex colon page block. After the apex colon page block. Now here I will specify apex colon variable. Apex colon variable. Now let's say here we have it two attributes. One is a var and the second one is value. Var is what is the variable name? What is the variable name? Here I'll take it as a row number. Row number is my variable. And what is the value? Value is should be starting with 1. Value is should be starting with 1. What is this means? This means the output of this. The output of this is row number equal to 1. The row number equal to 1. Now click on save. Now I just declared the variable. I just declared the variable. Is it displaying the number? It is not displaying the numbers. It is not displaying the numbers because I just declared the variable. Now after declaration, I need to display in the before this. Let me display it before this input checkbox. So I need to add one more column here, apex colon column, apex colon column. Inside this column, I'm going to add curly braces, exclamation. What is the number it contains? I have a variable called row number. Let's save this. I have added the another column, right? So because this here one column needs to be added. When I added the another column here, now let me remove this row number and let's save it. Now in order to add a row number, first of all, I need to add a column, right? First of all, I need to add a column before the input checkbox. Now, right now I have added the one column. Every record, before every record, there is a new cell is created. There is a new cell is created. Now in this cell, I need to display the numbers. I need to display the numbers. Where are the numbers are stored? Row number is this one. This is the attribute or variable. Now I am referring that variable here. Click on save. Now right now what it is displaying all the ones are displaying it. right? So far what I have done, I have declared the integer, I have declared the row number equal to 1. Row number equal to 1. Then I gave the row number value to the table. In the column, I have given the row number reference. But did I increment anywhere? Did I do the increment of any this? I did not do the increment. I have to do the increment, right? So once the record is over, when it goes to the next record. Now this is a one record. Now it is displaying the first record. Now when it is going to the next record, it should be increment should be happen. That means I equal to I plus 1, I equal to I plus 1, or row number equal to row number plus 1, row number plus 1. Here it should be 2. Now it will be displaying the 2 record completely. Then it will come down. Now whatever the row number is there, row number equal to row number plus 1, which is a 2 plus 1 equal to 3. Now the next one will be displayed the 3. Next one, it will display the 3. Now it should increment like this. Now, in case if I wanted to increment like this, that means after ending the complete column, now here it is displaying the first column, second column, third, fourth. After completing this final column, then the increment should be happen. Before going to the next record. That means after completing the first record, increment the number, then display the incremented number here. Now that means after completing this apex column, the number of employees. After completing the number of employees, what I need to do? I need to add I row number equal to row number, whatever this row number is there, write this row number equal to row number plus 1. This is actually I have to do it. But if I do this way, what is happening? It is going to display some random information it is going to display. Now after this, after column, it is not displaying anywhere row equal to row plus 1 because it doesn't know where it has to be displayed. But actually where it has to be displayed, the next number has to be incremented. Now just writing the row number equal to row number plus 1, what we have to do is add this into the column. Apex column. Within that, I'm going to add this row number equal to row plus 1. Now let's see. Now it is added 1 equal to 1 plus 1, 1 equal to 1 plus 1. Because every time row number is a 1. This is not the right. Now, instead of displaying the row number equal to row number plus 1, what I'm going to use is, I'm going to definitely increment the number. That is for sure. But incrementing the number, what I'll do is, I'll use the apex colon variable, var equal to whatever the row number is there, same name. Whatever the name is there, same name. I'll do the same name here. And then value equal to row plus 1. Value equal to row number plus 1. Value equal to, now let's display here. Now it is displaying the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 20. Now what is the additional which I have added? I have added another column here at the end of all the columns. Another column which I have added which says apex colon variable var equal to row number, value equal to curly braces exclamation row number plus 1. I am incrementing it. So now I can see here it is displaying the 1 to 20. Now header is blank. Header is blank. Either you can use the facet to display some value, or else what you can do is in the column you have a attribute which is called as a header value. Let's say header value equal to row number. Click on save. Now it will be added here, row number. Right? In case if you do not want a row number, you just want a hash number symbol. I just want a hash. And it is going to display the, instead of a row number, hash will be displayed. Right? So today we have discussed about the command link, command button, how to add an input checkbox, right? And then how to add a header. And then we have discussed about the facet in the header. How can I display the input checkbox? Then next one is how to increment these numbers. How to increment these numbers and how to add it into the this numbers in the column. Now, in case if you want to apply a color, background color, if you want to apply it, you can just apply the background color. Right, let's say here, click on this. Now, whatever the table is there, now this is the table. Now, background color. Now it is coming as a background, but I wanted table to be having the color. This is the background color of backside. Now let me add it here. Let's say I want the table. For the table, I want a background color. Now let's see here what else we have. We have a style equal to, I'll say background color. Just say background and then I'll say pink. Click on save. It is displaying the background. Right, if I hover any of the record will be highlighted. For the table, I just added the background. What did I added? Background equal to pink. Background colon pink. Now it is displaying them. If I hover it, it will highlight the selected one. Any questions in the code level?
Ma'am, here for calculation of the first column, we have created the last column, which means in the background, it is just calculating the row number. So basically, we don't require the column. So is there a way that we can hide that particular column into the
In
page?
case you do not want the column here. Okay, let's save this. I'll remove the column here. It's not even considering the what are the increment is there. It's not even considering that. Right? So in case if you want to hide the column, maybe you can go with the CSS. Hiding the column, you can implement a HTML CSS. So by using that, you can hide this column.
Okay.
Any other questions on the code level? Venkatesh, any questions? You asked me to show the code. Okay. So if there are no questions, I think that's all about the table. Alright. So if you want to go further, more implementation on this table, like a checkbox selection or a whatever is selected, collect the ID of that selected record. Those all are kind of a Apex logic implementation. Right. So we will see those logic whenever we are started with the Apex classes, then we will implement one more time capturing the ID here. Now, whenever this record is selected, I wanted to capture the ID of this record. And those all are Apex Visualforce page along with the Apex. With the help of Apex, we can do more further implementation on this table. Right. We can do the increment and the decrement, but we cannot do the assignment. We should not be doing it. Right now I'm doing the increment here. You can do either increment or a decrement, but you cannot assign the again value equal to 2 or a value equal to 3. That it is not possible. Now if I take here value equal to 2 instead of this, if I say reassignment, which is not possible. Right now, if I see here, if I say 2, what is happening? It is taking the 2, 2, 2. So reassignment does not work. Reassignment does not work. As per the standard, the Salesforce restriction is you should not be reassigning it. This is basically I plus. Let's comment out. Now here we have it. I equal to I plus 1. I equal to I plus 1 or I minus 1. You can do any of this. No, basically if you reassign it, it will allow you to compile it. It will allow you to compile it, but the logic does not work correctly. Clear? Okay. Monica will come to that. Wait a second. Right. If I go to the next page, now here I'll click on the next page. When I click on the next page, what happens is it will again comes as a 1 to 20. Right. If I click on again next page, it will come as a 1 to 20. Because now this previous page, whatever it is there, it can store the data of the previous page, but it will not store the variable numbers. Now, if you want the variable numbers, what is there previously? Now you need to store what is the last number that is available here. What is the last number which is available? Now, from the last button, whenever you click on the next page, again you need to increment from that number. Again, you need to increment. So that means as soon as you click on this button, as soon as you click on the next button, right now what is happening? Data is automatically taken from the previous one. Now here I have a, now let's go to the previous. Now it is displaying till new test. Now if I click on the code next page, what will happen? It will display the, after this, whatever the data is, the data will be displayed, but the numbers somebody has to hold it. In order to hold that number, either you need to write a JavaScript here, okay? JavaScript to increment this row number whenever we are clicking on this action method. On that action method, collect the last number and increment the next number from there. Or else you need to implement the Apex class. JavaScript, Apex class, both are right now. It is not right way to talk right now, but you can do it. There is a way to do it, but you can do it. Right now, this is the default which is provided by the Salesforce. Right, so that is the Apex variable. Apex variable, we use it for the variables. That's all for today. Now, how to enable the development mode for a Visualforce page and what is the use of it? How to enable the development mode for Visualforce page and what is the use of it?
Settings of my profile.
Avatar setting.
Okay, from avatar settings, we can go to the advanced user details and we can enable the development mode. We can edit the code on the same page. That is the use of it. Right. Now, what is the Apex page block table in the Visualforce tag? What is the Apex page block table?
Display the list of table. Data as a table.
Right, to display the list of tables. How to use the Apex column in Visualforce page? Where do we use it, Apex column?
Display not using column.
Inside the page block table, we use the we need to display the columns.
Inside the page block table, we have to display the Apex column. How to declare the local variable in the Visualforce page?
Apex variable.
Apex variable. How to align the column header to center in the Visualforce page? If you want a column in the center page, now right now it is a column is displaying it. It is starting from exactly from the line, right? Now in case if you want a center here, now this is displaying here phone. Now you wanted to display in the center.
Text alignment.
Text alignment. Now in the Apex column, you have the header class. Okay, you need to use the header class to align that column header. You need to align that. Either you can use the header class or you can use the style class or a style. Try that. That is the homework. Now this is coming as from the beginning. Now whatever the text is there, it is displaying it from the beginning. Now it has to be displayed in the center. All the header, only header should be displayed in the center, not the text, not the records, only header should be displayed in the center. That's the homework. And what are the global keywords? What are the global keywords?
$sign.
Right, but what is the
Profile. dollar organization,
Excellent.
dollar.
Okay, in interview, if they ask, can you explain about the global keywords? What you guys will explain it?
Use global variable to reference general information about the current user and the organization on page.
Right? So basically, whenever it is asked in the interview,
For giving the reference.
sorry,
For giving the reference to other application or
okay. Right, it is constant all over org and can be accessed in the any Visualforce page. Not only the Visualforce page, it is in the Lightning flows. Everywhere we can access. So whenever there is anybody ask about the global keywords, we have to say that there in the Salesforce organization, we have few keywords like a user, label, profile, resource to access the various values from the company on page, from user object or from profile or from resource page, we use a global keyword. Or you can say that to access the values from each source. To access the values from each source where we have a different global keywords such as a dollar user, right? Profile, resource, label, organization. What are used to access the data available within the Salesforce org, right? So basically, these are the standard constant variable that does not change usually. That does not change usually. So whenever you wanted to access those keys from the lightning flows or from the Apex or from the lightning aura or LWC or a Visualforce page, we can access directly those keywords. Now take a homework. Implement a Visualforce page to display the lead information in table format. Lead information in table format. Now the first one is a row number. You need to display the row number and then you need to display the checkbox. You need to display the checkbox and the lead name, lead company, lead email, industry, phone number. Right, this has to be displayed. Now if you see here the alignment which is saying that in between there is a space, white space is there, right? So the styling has to be same. Perfect. And the Apex data table we will see tomorrow. And these are the trial heads, which I'm bringing you the trial head. That's all for today.